The world had already changed. Cities were silent. This silence didn't strengthen what was hidden, but what would come to find it. The slightest sound drew attention. Movement left traces. By day, there was nowhere to hide. By night, you couldn't see what was approaching. Open spaces were no longer empty. They were dangerous. High ground didn't protect you. It exposed you. And that was the real question. In a world like this, where light never reaches, where sound is swallowed, where footsteps disappear, to move unseen or to exist without leaving a trace, was using the sewer system truly a logical option for survival? Protocol 1. Assessment. The idea of using the sewer system is generally not a planned decision. It is born out of necessity. When staying above ground becomes difficult, when open areas leave traces, and when movement draws attention, an involuntary thought begins to form. Could below be safer? But this is precisely the point where one must stop, because thinking about going below is not the same as understanding what lies below. The sewer is not an empty space, it is a system, and every system has its own rules, most of them unseen. Some of these rules may protect you without being noticed. Others begin working against you before you even realize what is happening. The essential question that must be asked is this: when you enter, are you truly hidden, or are you merely invisible in a far worse place? The second question is more unsettling. If something goes wrong, do you have the space to recover? And perhaps most importantly, does the sewer become a path you consciously choose, or a place you descend into because you can no longer remain above? Protocol 2. Operational preparation. If the decision to enter the sewer has been made, this is not a short-term hiding maneuver. It is preparation for an underground process whose duration is unknown. Any preparation based on the assumption that you can quickly return to the surface is incomplete. For this reason, preparation is made according to the worst-case scenario. 1. Timing and entry decision. Daytime hours are generally more practical for entering the sewer system. This is not a matter of safety, but of control. The initial descent is the most critical phase. Direction, ground structure, and connections must be read correctly. Daylight reduces dependence on artificial light, softens the eye's adaptation to darkness, and allows the first movement decisions to be made more accurately. 2. Light and visibility equipment. Entering with a single light is a conscious act of self-destruction. A minimum 3-layer system is required. Primary light, hands-free, securely mounted, narrow beam, and direction-controlled. Backup light, not in a bag, but in a pocket. Last resort light, battery-powered, small, and completely silent. Light is not kept on at all times. In the sewer, light is not used for comfort, but for confirming direction and distance. Unnecessary illumination causes battery loss and makes everything inside more visible. 3. Breathing and air risk. Sewer air is never considered safe. Even without a gas mask, at the very least, a simple cloth and spare material for basic filtration should be carried. More importantly, the body's warning signals must be known in advance. Dizziness, sudden weakness, a metallic taste, nausea, these are not signals to continue, but signs to turn back immediately. Those who assume these symptoms will pass are the ones who remain below. 4. Water and sustained survival. Since it is impossible to know how many hours or days will be spent below, water is the most critical load. It should be planned in portable, leak-proof containers in quantities sufficient to meet minimum survival needs. Sewer water is never considered drinkable. Without purification equipment, any water present is treated solely as a risk to be avoided. Food must be lightweight, non-perishable, and consumable in silence. Packaging noise echoes far more underground than one expects. 5. Physical protection and contact risk. Hands are never used bare. Gloves are not only for cleanliness, but to reduce infection and cutting risks. Footwear with ankle support and traction on slippery surfaces is mandatory. An open wound may not be a problem above ground, but below, it can become lethal very quickly. 6. Direction and sense of time. The sewer disrupts orientation. Moving without a watch and a simple marking system leaves return to chance. Chalk is used to prevent loss of direction. It is silent, quick to apply, easy to recognize on the way back, and can be wiped away when necessary to continue without leaving permanent traces. 7. Psychological preparation. What lies below applies pressure not only physically, but mentally. Darkness, confined spaces, and uncertainty generate panic. Panic breaks silence. For this reason, one truth is accepted before descent. There is no rush below. The pace is slower than above, and this is not a weakness, it is a method of survival. Protocol 3. Execution. Movement within the sewer. 1. Initial descent and first steps. Do not walk immediately when going down. First, check the ground. Determine whether the surface is solid, muddy, or covered with algae. The first few steps should be short and balanced. Sewer floors are often slippery. Long strides cause falls. Moving while leaning against a wall provides balance, but contact with metal surfaces should be avoided. 2. Use of light. Light is not kept on continuously. At initial entry, it is briefly turned on to read the space, then turned off. While moving, light is used only for direction control, ground checks, and connection points. It is aimed toward the ground, not at an upward angle that would blind the eyes. The less light is used, the better the eyes adapt to the darkness. 3. Direction and marking. At every junction and every turn, a chalk mark is placed. Simple arrows are sufficient. Came from here and return direction must be clear. No movement continues without marking. The same marking system is maintained consistently. Different symbols cause confusion. 4. Walking and sound control. Feet are lifted and placed. They are not dragged. When walking through water, steps are slowed. Splashing creates noise. If equipment is swinging, it is secured. If a sound is present, its cause must be known. If there is an unidentified sound, stop and listen. 5. Encounters with living creatures, rats, etc. Seeing a rat is not a reason for panic. If rats are present, there may be food residue or a nearby exit connection. Do not walk toward them and do not chase them. Simply note their direction. Avoid sudden movements. Rats usually flee from you. 6. Rest and food points. Food is not eaten while walking. Stop at a location where the space widens, the water flow is weak, and the ceiling is relatively high. Keep your back to the wall and the front under observation. Eat briefly and silently. Do not take long breaks. The sewer is a temporary space. 7. Side connections and possible exits. Side tunnels are not entered immediately. They are first checked with light. Is there airflow coming from inside? Is natural light leaking from above? Is the water level different? If light or airflow is present, this may indicate proximity to the surface. However, entry is never made without assessment. First, place a marker. Then evaluate with a brief look. If uncertain, return to the main line. 8. Changes in water level. If the water level rises, movement stops. The sewer is a space that can close rapidly. Sudden rises above ankle level are taken seriously. Follow return markers and move toward an exit. 9. Fundamental rule. Below ground, the goal is not speed, but control. If something is unclear, do not proceed. If there is fatigue, stop. If there are no markers, turn back. Protocol 4. Exit and final one. Exit decision. Exit is not taken when you are tired, but when the right point is found. Not every upward connection is an exit. First, it is checked from below. Is natural light leaking from above? Is there airflow? And is the cover fixed or movable? If at least two of these signs are not present, that point is not forced. 2. Pre-exit waiting. Do not go up immediately. Wait beneath the cover for several minutes. Observe sounds, vibrations, and changes in light coming from above. A sudden exit is one of the most common and dangerous mistakes. 3. The moment of exit. The cover or opening is eased open slowly. At first, it is opened only to eye level. The surroundings are checked. After emerging, move away immediately and leave the cover exactly as it was. Final acceptance. This world may now punish open spaces, but the underground is not innocent either. The sewer does not save you. It only gives you a chance to correct a mistake. This was not an escape guide, but an awareness protocol. If this world ever truly falls silent, knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to do. Thank you for watching. If you found this valuable, remember to like the video, subscribe, and stay on the channel for more survival protocols.